I'm always late to the party.
Yeah, you look comfy though. In these cold
Yeah,
winter
I'm
months.
still next week's episode. Please can we get some slippers?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Some pink slippers.
Hot slippers.
Hot slippers.
We should. I'm here. Listen, I'm here for pajamas. If we want to do financial pajamas, like
should we do pajama
should we
episode?
do
mine?
the pajama episode?
Think we mine. How can we make
Onesies.
this relevant to money?
No,
I'll find a way.
No, because that's my excuse to get Jeff Avenue pajamas.
You don't need an excuse. If you've got, you can
Put it in the
for
budget,
it.
mate.
No, I could never justify it. I'd save up for it, then and be like
How much are they?
over £100 for some jeans.
For Christmas.
Yeah,
Christmas gift.
We can make this work. I think if you're going to wear it half the week, so what would you wear? Like pajamas 2 times in a row, maybe?
yeah.
Money per wear.
So if they're good quality and wash well, so we need to know from someone else that they wash well, because if
I
they
have
wash
heard they're
well,
good quality.
then you can, and like make sure you wash them properly. You're going to get use out of them. I would spend £100 on
and
pajamas.
this, ladies, is
Yeah.
how you justify buying things.
It's different to spending
you wear
£100
them
on
for
a
the
Christmas
pod?
dress, and then that's
Yeah.
the one dress.
Sequins going into landfill.
Yeah.
These pajamas will be loved, cared for. You could get buried in them, as we spoke about in a previous pod. We did speak about it in a previous pod.
Me.
Get buried in them.
No, because then I wouldn't wear them. I'd be like, save them.
Or
Save it.
Jeff, I mean, you could sponsor the pod.
Yeah, and we'll all
And we
sit
could
here.
all wear them, and we'd encourage
And we also
people to
need
buy
robes.
them.
We're leaving that with you, Jeff, haven't you?
Lots of people now, I promise you, because a
Oh my
lot
God.
of millennials will be Googling what the hell is
Yeah,
Jeff
no one
Avenue.
knows what
It's
you're
a
talking
very
about.
niche.
GJEOF, guys.
And who is it?
Matilda Jeff.
And she's a.
Just like an Instagram girlie.
There you go.
But
I was
she's
gonna say
been
Melissa
going.
Jeff, and it's Matilda.
She's been going for like, she's an Instagram OG.
Okay.
She's really cool.
Pinterest.
Yeah.
Girly.
So you can go those. I would go like candy cane stripes, festive season approaching. What would you
I'm
wear?
here for it.
Onesie.
I'll copy the Gen Z person.
Lydia, you've definitely got a onesie in you. Like, what would be your comfort?
Do you not,
Got a sensory
do you not
sock?
sleep in your sensory sock, Lydia?
like a caterpillar. Turn it into a beautiful butterfly. I've owned a onesie, several onesies, but I don't like sleeping in them because they get,
Hot,
especially if they
panicked.
have feet.
Yeah.
You Yeah. get
Right.
like caught and you end up like a really
Like a
frustrated
wedgie.
little baby.
Yeah.
A baby. And then I cry and then someone helps me out of it.
Honestly, I get super stressed when the children were all babies about, they can't tell you if they're hot. I
Yeah.
can't tell you. Like, I would
Or
legit
cold.
overthink and I would go up and check on the children in the cots like multiple times just for like they couldn't tell you that something was uncomfortable or that something
Yeah.
was hot. Hey-ho.
I think I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the ultimate sleeping gear is like Winnie the Pooh, like just a top and nothing else.
Like nothing else.
So I was picturing
Yeah,
a Winnie the
like a
Pooh
big
nightie, but you
t-shirt
mean
and nothing
actual
else.
Winnie the Pooh.
It's like a nightie, but like Money Club t-shirt, perfect.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was my
Size.
Winnie the Pooh sleeping
Oh.
t-shirt.
But Winnie the Pooh's is more of a crop top. So you,
No,
Yeah.
I can answer the door if I have to.
Like this.
I was picturing a Winnie the Pooh nightie. You
Yeah, I
didn't-
was like,
no.
Oh my
Winnie the Pooh on
God. When we were having babies and then my mum was like, the biggest thing we need to sort out is what you give birth in, because I am not having you wear like an Eeyore or a Winnie or,
Yeah.
or a Winnie the Pooh nightie to give birth in.
a grown woman who's in Disney.
I'm more of a full button.
Oh, I knew it.
What's
wearing
it
a
called?
shirt and
What's the guy? We've spoken about this before. Scrooge.
Oh, screw Ebenezer Scrooge. Little sleeping
I
house.
love how you did this and we all knew what she was doing.
She was holding an
Little
lamp.
oil candle.
To go through Winnie
lamp.
the Night.
Candle lamp, yeah.
I like full on. We've both got the same dressing gown. Rosie
Oh,
Huntington.
yeah.
Whatever
Whiteley.
her name
Whiteley.
is. That one. From M&S.
I need a dressing gown. I'm going to go
It's
into
so
it.
Touches the floor. Like it's long.
Yeah.
Like a
It's
cape. No,
lit-
like a cloak. Like
No,
a
I've got-
regal.
I've got that one, which I got as a Christmas present. I don't think I would ever buy a dressing gown by myself, by the way.
God, no, it's a purchase that someone else makes.
How much was it?
I don't know. My nanny bought
60?
it me.
I'm thinking the
cheap.
pyjamas. Like, you bought that. Buy the pyjamas.
Exactly. But then for my birthday, my mum got me the white company dressing gown. A big fluffy
Does it
towel
blow
with
out
a
the
hood.
water?
I feel like I've said this before
Does it
also,
blow
but I
out
feel
the
like
water?
Julia Roberts.
Oh,
Pretty
Pretty
Woman.
Woman.
We keep, but she's seen every single film that she's in. She's always in a white robe,
Maybe
and it's like
a
touching
part
the
of a
floor.
contract.
And Mum was like, "You need this,"
Curly Sue.
and it's incredible.
She's not in that though.
No, but like when I think a big white robe with a towel on your head, it's like, do you know what Curly Sue is? No, don't. I even bother.
It's
Anyway.
on your movie list.
Anyway,
the interesting thing when you become parents is like my children have had white company dressing gowns and I haven't.
yeah, embroidered
It's
with the
really
name on.
upsetting.
I'm gonna get it on my back, Mom.
Not good for fake tan though. I put my M&S one on for the fake tan.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
There we go.
Not a fake tango.
Welcome to the Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Howdy.
Howdy. Have you
Yeah.
got that
Yeah,
sign yet? We identified
lady.
a sign in the shop a few weeks ago and I immediately took a picture of it
I
and
walk
sent it to
past
Lucy.
there's a Oliver
Where?
Bonus in... Right, do you say Oliver Bonus or Oliver Bonas?
Oliver Bonus.
Yeah, I say bonus and then everyone else is like,
Bonus.
I'm like, wait, what? There's like an embroidered...
Yeah.
They
it's
also
like
have a
green and
cushion.
blue. Oh.
Got a cushion as well.
Okay.
Embroidered howdy. And it's like perfect green.
And I saw it and I was like, that's Lucy. That's
So
what she
You're the
cool.
said.
first person to send me the cowboy emoji. The hat
I
on.
love the cowboy emoji.
Can't think why. It might have been when Texas thing came
Cowboy
out.
emoji and this emoji.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Salute. Is that salute? Oh, yeah.
It's a
Lucy
salute.
gives a salute. So, Laura and I had a crash course on how not to speak to Gen Zs when Lucy started working with us because
Oh my God.
we used to send emojis.
The psycho smiley.
Yeah. So,
It's so weird, isn't it? The way they look at it, it's just like,
sometimes we'd be like, oh, that was such a good piece of work. Thank you, smiley face. And Lucy must have just gone home and cried because
Yeah, I'd be like, oh my God,
later
they hate
it
me.
transpired. Yeah. She was like, that's actually a passive aggressive smiley. And I was like, sorry, what?
God,
I was like, I was just smiling at you because you did a good job. And she was like, no, I thought you hated me.
but if the smile is to the side, it's fine.
Yeah.
May as well have done the eye roll emoji. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
May as well do an upside down one. That's the best one in a WhatsApp group
Yeah.
when someone's like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you say that. Upside down smiley. And you're like, oh.
Do you know what? I think that's in my top 5
Really?
used ones.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check right now what my top
I'm
one
talking
is.
about you.
You can look at what your favourite one is.
Cowboy.
Mine might be like,
The nails.
oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Very financial.
Yeah, it is.
The nails.
You'll see that on a lot of our blog
Yeah,
notifications.
it's in my top 5.
Dylan, what's
Cowboy.
yours? I need to know.
He's looking.
I've got crying, laughing.
Which one?
The
The one to the side?
No, just the normal cry, laughing.
Okay.
And I've got a ghost.
A
Ooh,
ghost?
very
When would you use a
seasonal.
ghost?
Very seasonal.
My girlfriend's very scary.
She's listening.
A frog.
A frog?
Yeah, I use a frog a lot.
Give me a text message.
This is
where you use the
unhinged. I
frog.
love it.
Yeah, and again, it's just.
Do you want anything from Greg's? Frog.
It's more because my dog looks like a frog.
Your dog looks like a frog. Okay.
Yeah, and then a heart, and then
Oh.
the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
everyone
eyes
uses
is
I love
also
the
a good
eyes.
one.
Yeah.
Lydia?
Well, I've been doing loads of financial posts, so that's kind of ruined.
Yeah,
Skewed.
same. Mine's
I've got like an
skewed.
engagement ring, which is like
Oh.
Just dropping it in. Dropping it in.
the little hiding one, the little
This
little
one?
shocked one, yeah, little mind blown one. It's all very clickbaity, kind of. What you put on a caption.
Yeah, tell me you've been
A
writing
little
blogs.
pumpkin, got a little pumpkin,
Seasonal.
Seasonal.
and a leaf. You know, the autumn leaf.
Autumn.
I've got that
No.
one. I've got that
Yeah.
one as well.
I bet you have.
What
You're
will be on
autumn.
yours? Upside down smiley face.
Upside down, which is like, that's my eye roll.
Yeah.
That's my eye roll.
Massive fucking eye roll. You're like literally upside down.
There's also like, because I'm on Slack a lot, there's lots of pleases and okays, and it's usually my responses to
Yeah,
the tech team.
like-
They're like, we've done this. I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Please, can you look at this?
I think I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Dad's
You're a dad.
response.
I'm a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Actually, an American flag because I was posting about our US community. So
that. Oh, yeah.
we used to have one, and then we like closed it a bit. So there was like a really, really big one. And then I think our US girlies and guys need a space where it's not just all British.
Yes.
And
our
also,
others, like maybe our Irish.
we need
one,
to
a nice
shout
little
out
area.
to our Irish community because you guys are the top listeners of our pod.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, we need to go to Dublin.
Top city is Dublin, so watch
trip.
your space.
Yeah,
Honestly,
maybe.
Never
every
been to
week
Ireland.
I look at the date and I'm
I've
like,
never been to Ireland.
What?
No,
you?
Never
Both of
ever.
you?
neither.
We need to fix that.
Where did we take? Oh, I took Lucy to Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
She's never
For
been
the
to
first time ever.
Scotland.
We're crossing
Okay,
the border.
guys,
Yeah.
in
Our
it's
Irish
Dublin that's the
girlies.
top city. So if
Dublin's
there's somewhere
top
we
listening
could
city.
come do this live,
Yeah.
we'll do girls'
Take
bathroom
Dylan with
style.
us.
Well,
That'll be fun.
well, that he'd be in the north, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah. No, I know,
That's right.
I know both.
You can
That's
cross the
all right.
border.
Yeah.
You're allowed. Yeah, top Irish girlies, top listeners.
I was going to say howdy.
What?
That's not Irish. What's
Howdy.
what's a classic?
Irish
Top of the morning
response.
to you is so
No.
cliched.
To you.
What's the crack?
Yeah.
What's the crack, guys?
Such a true.
What's the crack?
Okay, I've got a controversial opinion.
Oh, really? We're doing the vault.
Oh, sorry.
Apologies.
Okay. Investing is gate-kept and purposely made confusing. Silence.
Well, that was a sigh.
Whether it's controversial, it's just true, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I completely agree with the statement. It has been gatekept for a very long time. You'll notice in COVID, the word investing was just like, everyone started to invest from their bedrooms. Like, I don't know where the craze came from. I think everyone had more time because you could argue that investing can take up a lot of your headspace if you don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
So you have to firstly educate yourself, then learn about the relevant platforms that you should use, then track it depending on the types of investing that you're doing. So I think it kind of popped off in COVID because people had a little bit more of excess time and money. People weren't, if you were still getting paid a salary, yes, you still had all your bills, but you didn't have the kind of outgoings that we all have now.
You weren't doing like your commuting and your lunches at work and your dinners out because you couldn't go out. Like you couldn't do anything. You couldn't go shopping. So any disposable income was for some people building up in their account. And so
they were like, what can I do with it? And I feel like social media exploded. There was like a FinTok phenomenon where it's like financial TikTok where people started to talk openly about their investing, whereas actually it was quite like, it was gatekept. I imagine it was just between finance bros and like
and people
we never would have talked
people
about
whose
it.
family would traditionally invest and stuff as well. Like I think it has been reserved for the wealthy. I think I've loved the explosion of some really cool what you would call robo investing platforms. You wouldn't know them as that. You'd know them as the Trading 212s, for example, and the Pension Bees. Like these platforms are just a digital way to do what you actually could always have done in your banking app or going into branch. And I think it has been made a lot more accessible in terms of how you do it, the practicalities of being able to deploy funds. But it is gate kept in terms of what it is, how you would do it, how you would start. I mean, we sometimes chat to people in businesses or in talks and sessions and we say, hands up if you're an investor. And you'll kind of get like 10% of the people putting the hand up and you'll say, who has a pension or a retirement fund? And everyone puts the hand up and you go, you're investors, but you're not positioned as that. So you don't use pension, you think is something that you put money aside for when you're in retirement. But the backstory to that is, well, the way, you need money to grow, and a great way to do that is to invest in the stock market. And the way that you invest in the stock market is if you do it through specific pension funds or funds, your pension company or your investment platform will deploy it into either like a whole of market fund or a specific type of fund, a specific geography. And what you're doing is buying pieces of the stock, you're buying stocks and shares on the stock market. You're buying a little bit of lots of companies. And the hope is, and history tells us this, is that as those companies do better, and these companies are people like Apple and Asda and Tesla and United Utilities, like big old traditional companies and super fast, sexy new ones. And as some boom and bust and as some, do well and don't, it kind of levels out. And then what happens is, if you put money into this account, which is essentially like a bank account for you, you don't have to think about it as anything different. It's just like a bank account. You put regular money in, you're buying stocks and shares all the time automatically. In some accounts, like your pension, the government's giving you the tax back as well on it. And then it grows. And so sometimes when you look at your pension statement or an investment ISA, if you've got one, it usually has like your contributions as a line and then actually what you've got. And that bit is the growth. And that's why we do it. And that's the way that you make money while you sleep. And that's the slow and steady and non-sexy way of building up lots of wealth. That whole process is completely gatekept.
Yeah.
It's just silence. It's just, you should do your pension. And I think if you understood more about it, you would be more likely to do it. The big thing we've got in female circles is because so few people know enough about it or do it or overthink it and feel like they have to do a course and feel like they have to spend ages
fully
learning.
Commit.
Yeah.
Like
you have to learn everything.
You've got to go all
Yeah.
in. You've got to join a Discord community. Like that was a problem, I think. NFTs and like Web3 and blockchain, like that really probably put a lot of people out of investing and put them off. It definitely put me off. I was like, like Jesus Christ, you have to learn about NFTs. Like I'm barely like paying into my pension. So I think, yes, that it looks like it's reserved for a certain type of community, but I think Laura's right with the types of brands that have come out with these really, really easy to use platforms. Like we talk about and laugh about them all the time, but even my son, Wolf of Wall Street, looks at his investments all the time on a really easy platform, and I can freely talk to him about it. Like I don't know everything. I don't know everything that the fund's invested in, but I can just talk to him about compound interest, like just small things like that. Make it so much more accessible. And a community of ours like Financielle, like you are in a safe space to ask what you think is a stupid question, but probably 20 other people are thinking exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
If
I'm
someone
definitely
writes about
so just ask.
just ask it.
Just ask. Some people
I'll
no
ask it for you.
judgment.
Message me.
Yeah. I will fall on the sword. Like ask me the question and I'll drop it in.
I feel like a lot of especially women like know they should do it. So like I see a lot in our DMs. You might see it on Instagram a lot, Lydia, because I do, where they're going, I think I should be like, and I know I should be. It's like the last thing. It's like, and I'm not doing that, so I need to fix this, and I need to fix this, and I need to fix this, and I think I should be doing that. And firstly, like people, the attraction of it sometimes causes people to obsess over that and put in 100 quid here and 100 quid there. That's not going to move the needle. No. Investing is about slow, steady, consistent investing. But yet over here, they're kind of shopping on Klarna and they're running up, credit card debt and they're going on fancy holidays. And those two things don't balance. Like don't think that £100 to £200 isn't going to touch the sides. Like you need to be constantly and consciously investing for it to do it. And so I always tell people, like, go to the calculators, like go have a look. You just Google compound interest calculator and look, if I invested this every month and I got a whatever return, you can Google what average returns are. What would that be? Because you see how actually you can't just put money in. Like some people put like 100 quid in and then get upset that it only went to 101.
Yeah.
And don't put any more in. Like they're like, oh, of course, it's not done anything.
Or it goes down £1.
Yeah. And it's not
freak out. You
it's
just
not
don't,
very good.
Just don't look at it, basically.
But it's because they're not taught or given the space or the encouragement, which is, oh, this is a slow burner.
Yeah.
Like you put it there slowly and regularly. And as I've shared before, I think on this pod, there was a moment in my financial journey where my investments went up more in a month than my salary. I mean, it does that regularly now, but at the time, I remember going, are you kidding me? So I just slogged for a month in a job and got paid this, but I also just went to sleep and did nothing. And that also went up the same amount. Now, granted, quite a lot of that is in retirement, so it's not like I'm like
you can't
rolling in it
tomorrow. Yeah.
But the same, it could be in a pre-retirement account and an ISA, and it would do the same. It just wouldn't have as much tax benefit, and so that happens. But you've got to do the work up front. But I think if more of us talked about that, then it would, one, get people more motivated to do the baby steps that we walk through, like the little things about getting your savings in order and making sure that you manage your budget. And our job at Financielle with the playbook is to get you to grow. It's not to stay and survive, and it's certainly not to stay and build. And when you're in grow, you should have been automatically doing like your basic retirement. But now's the time to think, oh, how much should we be investing? Set up the flaming direct debit. And then crack on and don't think about it again. Just check in once a month when you do your net worth.
For us, it's just part of our budget now.
Yeah.
Like when we do our money, date night budget, monthly budget, we just make sure that all the things that we set up, it's literally a bill. It's not exciting. It's not fun. We don't make it a big thing. It's like, okay, so this much is going to the cash ISA. This much is going to stocks and shares. This much is going into the JICE for the kids. Like, it's just what it is. So we do not gatekeep. Other people might.
It is, yeah.
But it is as a concept,
How do you feel about investing?
I don't know. Well, I kind of was in uni during COVID and was kind of taken in by the whole like investing
opportunity
topics on like social media and everything. And then my boyfriend is just kind of quite interested in all of that stuff, does all of that stuff. So I was like, I should probably be doing this as well. Like I was getting FOMO when he was talking about
returns,
like preparing for this and preparing for this. I was like, oh,
should
I
be
haven't done
doing
any
that?
of that.
Yeah.
So luckily I just
was it healthy FOMO?
Yeah. I was like oh,
yeah,
I'm not doing
Where
that.
are you at now with it? Like, if you don't mind sharing, like what do you do? So you've got your pension.
I've got my pension, which I actually checked.
Did you?
And I got a message from the I need to change my address.
Okay.
Got a message from like the new tenant in our old place being like, I've got a letter for you for your pension.
You're like, they're my investments.
Just
forward them on.
It,
Feel free to have a little gander.
I don't check.
How am I performing?
And then I kind of just focus on the stocks and shares ISA. I would like to find some more like, not like too fun, but literally I'm talking like £30 to £40 a month of just something really rogue.
Yeah.
Like individual stocks, maybe.
Yeah, like something that I can be like, woo.
Yeah, because this is the point about like lots of people get overwhelmed with investing, which is, oh no, your default investing should be funds, and you can research on a high level. You don't have to learn everything about them, but on most platforms, it will. There's you can do a risk check. You can. How do you feel? What returns do you want? And literally, you're overthinking even that. Probably that point. Just pick something. So make sure that it's spread and it's diversified and it's one of these funds. But if you've got disposable income to be a bit more aggressive with, that's where you could pick a region or a sector. Like a lot of people go into tech, which can go really well up, but it can come really down. Or it might be a brand. Like I've seen it before. People position, instead of buying the next Apple phone, buy Apple shares, and they've got a point. They've got a point, but that helps bring it to life. Which is, and interestingly enough, in the 1950s and 60s. A lot of the really good stockbrokers would ask their wives for investing tips.
That's cool.
Why?
Because they knew like what was trending.
Yes,
what was
the brand.
They would do the shopping.
Yeah.
So like, if
Very
it was,
liquid.
Yeah,
It's the best. And then he's like,
"What are we
ching, ching.
spending every? What's the trend? Like it was the early
Consumer,
TikTok trends.
yeah.
It was
What
the
are we
consumerism.
buying, honey?
But he would go and
I love
invest
that.
other people's money into, the owner of Fairy Liquid or whatever the brands were, or whatever the big consumer brands were, because at that time, FMCG, so the consumer goods,
That was the thing.
successful businesses.
Yeah.
They were like, the 100-year businesses that we kind of see. And so that makes sense. And so there could be, again, this is about disposable cash. If you've got extra money and you want to invest over and above your basic bitch stuff, then pick something that you like.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I
Go
think
for
I would
stock
enjoy that.
exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'd be like, I'm down 10
and every time you buy it, you'll be like, I'm helping myself.
She's going to come into work with a cigar in her mouth and one of those, like, what are they called? Like those hats
Fedora.
with no, or a fedora.
Oh, no, you mean like
with a typewriter with a paper coming out. Oh, man.
Holly's got a really active imagination.
I really do.
I know we're labouring the point, but Lydia, I want to ask you about investing. How do you think it's kept? Like, where you've been on a journey with us since you joined earlier in the year.
If I hadn't had this job like with Financielle, I probably never would have touched it because I'm so like risk averse.
Yeah.
But then I started on Monzo, I started the like little account thing.
Did you?
Yeah, and I've learned to ignore it and not
get
check it every
stressed.
morning.
Yeah.
Be
Were
like,
you doing
damn
that
it, I lost 7p.
God damn it.
Like it's a 1920 stock market crash.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just not thinking about it. It's just part of the budget. I'm just adding it.
Amazing.
That's so good.
That's all it needs to be. It's no
Yeah.
more than that. You're like she said, it's made to be this like
Yeah.
huge thing, but you've just made it as part of your routine, and that's all
Yeah.
it needs to be.
Baby
Nothing
steps,
more,
innit?
nothing less. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's knowing that, and this is it's all about layers. Like sometimes trying to do everything at once is quite hard, but once you kind of add a layer in and make it a bit of a default, that's why the net worth tracker is really magical in the app, because you kind of come back to it once a month, and then you can do the report in the app, which is what's my 3-month growth, my 9-month growth, my 12-month growth, my all time, and you see these ups and downs, but eventually the trend lines up, and it's a result of slow and consistent work that started possibly with a bit of overwhelm, but kind of feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and going,
Because it's very passive. You can make it so passive.
Yeah.
Like, this is not something that you have to like knuckle down into. You can
You don't
just
need to
make
read
it
a
so
book.
passive.
You don't need to do any investing courses.
Nope.
no.
And
just-
also the people feeling left behind is like, if you've got a pension, you're investing.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
should make
everyone
everyone
should
feel
do it.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should feel better. When people do that, everyone goes, don't they? Like, sigh of relief. Like,
Yeah.
I'm an investor. I'm not like totally not to
Yeah.
grips with my money.
Yeah, and that's a really safe and easy way to kind of look at how that performed. Have a little, like, between Google and ChatGPT now, you can ask lots of questions, stupid questions, privately. Like, ask us and ask the community and read some stuff. But if you're like, my pension is invested in the Aegon fund, what is that? Can you show me how it's performed? Can you explain it to me like I'm a 10-year-old? You can ask it that even, and it will do it. It's so wonderful. So you don't have to. I don't want to say be ignorant of it in a negative way, like as a condescending thing. Just more of you can learn more about it quite easily, and it's not as overwhelming as you think. But also talk to someone else about it. Talk to a partner who might be interested in it, but you don't have to be the stockbroker, that's fine as well. You don't have to read the FT and see how like something has performed, and there's going to be a merger and there's going to be this. Like,
you're not going to be sat in a room and someone ask questions. Like, it's not an interview. Like, just go and learn a little bit. Build your confidence up.
Oh, I like that one.
Okay, first dilemma. We want a wedding and a house. My partner and I are planning a wedding for summer 2026. That's not next year, the year after.
I would say that. What?
We have relatively good salaries, pay rent in London, and have no debt. As we are renting, we would ideally like to buy a house further north in 2025. We've saved for a house deposit for years and already have this. My dilemma is trying to save for a wedding and buying a house within a year of each other. Even non-flashy weddings in the UK are so expensive and we're not going over the top. All in all, it could cost us close to £50,000, which I know sounds ridiculous. I would welcome any advice on saving for both a wedding and navigating buying a house so close together. P.S. Changing the timeline on wedding is not really an option.
I get that. Lots of people do want to be married before they buy a home. It makes sense. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Also, I was expecting you to say she needs to save for both properly, but she's kind of got the house deposit, or they've got it covered.
That's
you
really
don't want to like.
Overwhelmed of.
She doesn't want to take away from the house deposit or anything, but it's just a lot. Like,
so she's still saving for the wedding.
Yeah,
she's got to save for the wedding.
They've got the house deposit. They're trying to save for the wedding at the same time.
But like, I'm imagining there's a lot of cost to moving from London up to the north.
There's costs, there's conveyancing costs, there's what you're going to buy. You're going to buy something that needs work. And we see this all the time, these like big competing goals.
And stretched very thin.
I suppose it's just
our
too
side,
big.
We are married and have had the wedding. And on your side, you are not even engaged, but
no
have the
house,
Pinterest.
No engagement.
But you have the Pinterest board.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
And so, like, let me at it. We're like those people that's like, we've done it, but it's not that important, and other things are important. We do think it's important. Like, we wouldn't say go and spend £200 on a wedding at the town hall and do nothing. Like, we wouldn't say that either. But
definitely,
I don't want to be the killjoy of the person that's like, and we've just got this vision and they've got a vibe. And
I would just ask every bride that you know that have been married for a couple of years and ask their opinion, and I'm telling you, it'll all be the same. I genuinely think that people will be like, I think we've mentioned it on the pod a few weeks ago, like a couple that we know had done a bit of investigating with the friends because they'd eloped, and their partner was like, I wish I'd done that. Like, everyone was so jealous, so bitter that this couple had managed to like
actually enjoy the wedding,
the wedding of the dreams. And they're buying a house, so like same again. They were trying to choose like a big life goal that they wanted to hit, and went with one and not the other, but they did go for the other because they had an amazing wedding, but their friends were still paying the wedding off 4 years later. 4 years later. Crazy. And I'm not saying this person sounds very financially
savvy, yet debt-free, renting, going to buy up north, like the best people.
They're not being ridiculous. Like, come on now. Very sensible, like doing a good job. But I would just think about spending £50,000 on a wedding. I really would.
I think that's the point here. Like,
they think that's what it's going to cost. And I mean, this is maths. So we've not got a magic wand here. We're very, very clever at lots of things and we help lots of people, but we don't have a magic wand. And so it can't be, we want the house and we want the wedding and we want to do it here.
We're going to do it for free.
So, so if the wedding's going to cost you at least 50, let's call it 50, then there's a total that you have to save. You have to save 50. And if you want to get married before or at the same time as buying the house, then you have to put off buying the house until you're ready for that. Easy. Like, if that's what you want to do. And I sometimes play devil's advocate with people and go, fine, do that.
Yeah.
Because then they go, oh, but then that'll be 3 more years.
It's called compromise.
It's a math situation. There's no magic answer here. What can bring the wedding forward? A cheaper wedding.
Yeah.
Or not buying the house. And that's where you have, like, it's where it's realization of, like, you know, it's a first world problem, I know, for all of us, but you have to compromise on something, and it really helps you think about what's important. Is timing important, or is the wedding important, like the size of wedding? Because they're not mutually exclusive, like one will impact the other. Because I think if you get people to do that and model different options, like options are good. Option A is doing this. Option B is this. Sometimes it's a halfway ground, and sometimes that feels right. Like,
I'm not telling you to like scrimp either, or like have a really shit boring wedding. Like, but I would love to come and cross a few people off your list.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
don't
God.
speak. When
Give
was
me
last
the
time?
pen.
Show me WhatsApp. When was
How
the
much
last time
do
you
you reckon,
spoke to
like,
that
one
person?
person costs out?
Depends
to have
where
at a
you
wedding?
are.
Oh,
Hundreds.
sometimes it can be a couple £100
Yeah.
because when she's talking a £50,000 wedding, I would then also challenge her and be
It's not
like,
gonna be
no.
50.
Well,
If you're telling me it's 50, it's more.
because and your
Costs come extra.
yeah,
at the
but it
end.
means you're deciding on a particular type of wedding. So sometimes what's helpful there is, for some people it's all or nothing. Like they don't want to go to a local thing around the corner, and they don't, as in like, it sounds like this is a big wedding. So the best way to not have that big wedding is to have a small one rather than have a big wedding at a cheaper place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So she
go
doesn't
for
want
quality,
a big 20 grand wedding.
Go for quality over quantity.
Yes.
Like,
so this might end
people.
up being a super high end dinner of 15.
oh,
Nice.
You know,
That sounds
nice
delightful.
dress.
how
Cute
classy.
photographer following you around. Like I've seen this thing now. You can get people to do like socials for your wedding.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
love
it's
that.
sometimes better than a wedding photographer because
Imagine
you'll
me
use it
doing
more.
mine.
She
Sorry.
would do it. You're not allowed.
Can you imagine? The
But
freaking
this
pictures?
so what you can have is you can have this elite wedding that's quality.
I want to go.
But that's, I mean,
Yeah,
You
can
sold
we
it to
come?
me. We always talk about Jamie and Sophie Habu and whatnot getting
Yeah,
married
like
on the
the
town
first
hall
one.
steps of the
I love that.
them
Marylebone.
too,
Like,
so that's like
yeah, they did,
Yeah.
but like the first one appealed to me so much more than the one in
Carrie
Spain.
Sex and the City.
I don't want people.
Yeah, she was going to have the library and she had a bird on her head. And then she ended up
and she went and had
out for
breakfast.
meal and yeah. And so I think that's the modeling situation where you go, what do we want to do in what order and what's important? Because we can have any one of these, but we can't have everything at once. And you look at these different options. And sometimes, like, if you can't choose, flip a coin and you'll know if you don't like the
Yeah,
option.
because you'll be like,
So
I wish it
true.
was heads, falls on
Yeah.
tails.
Oh, good luck to
but
her.
imagine someone
Yeah, that's
telling
what I
me
said at the beginning.
as
I
a
don't want to kill the dream.
pre-bride,
Yeah.
just lower your expectations.
No, but you did well though, because think about the aspirational people that have done that. So
Yeah, go to the people that have just had an
Sophie Habu, go look
amazing
at her
wedding.
Instagram and be
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that is iconic because it's different. It's not what everyone else has done.
Yeah.
Find these weddings and these shots and these moments that people wish they would have had.
Yeah.
And then like that's aspirational. It doesn't have to be the huge thing.
I always say learn from everyone else's mistakes.
Yeah.
When it comes to weddings, just go on the forums and be like, there will be hundreds of them where people are
Yeah.
like, I fucking wish I didn't even
And then
favours
copy and
and
paste it all into ChatGPT
Yeah.
and say, write me a wedding for under 20
Oh,
grand.
that's
Yeah.
such a good idea. We should do that. We'll do that as an experiment on social. But good luck. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you've got
You've got your shit together.
together and you're going to do fine whatever you do.
Yeah.
But don't overthink it.
And send us the wedding pics.
Yeah.
Okay, community win. Doesn't sound like it, but it is. I had the worst luck this month.
Strong start.
I started my emergency fund savings, £70, and my car broke.
Oh.
Brackets, dead. This is like a wrap. I hadn't told my boyfriend of my financial situation. Brackets, broke. He pays bills, I buy food. I was scraping by. This literally sounds like a song.
Sing it. How dare you?
I was scared to tell him, but his situation was 100% better than mine. Brackets, no debt. Anyway, I had to tell him because I couldn't get a new car. He understood and bought me a new car, which I needed for my job.
How if you're not watching
So
this,
anyone,
watch it.
so if anyone is scared to share their situation of debt with a significant other, bite the bullet and do it, because they might help in larger ways than you may predict. They don't want to see us suffering. I'm out of food shopping for the next few months until my money is sorted. I'm gonna marry this man. What a good guy. I was so scared to tell him, but he just said, "Oh well, life happens and it's tough, but we're a team."
Oh.
If your son was at home.
Can you lay down a beat underneath that? Like,
I feel
That's
like
not going on Instagram Reels.
I feel like the brackets were like the backing singers.
Yeah.
Broke.
Ad libs. Broke.
Oh, but do you know what? The biggest win there was, apart from the outstanding rap, it was don't be afraid to share.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Well,
I get why you said it's a win, not a win. Go on.
this leads us very aptly onto our next dilemma.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Go too soon.
Unfortunately.
He's singing this one.
She's gonna say it in Spanish. Go ahead, Lucy.
Duolingo's not that good.
It's like the scene from Bridesmaids where she's like, ole,
Consuelos.
en la escuela.
Halami.
Okay. I've been hiding £17,000 of debt since we started dating.
Oh God. I'm laughing.
This is not funny.
This is not funny. This is like dark humour where we're laughing at the coincidence rather than the reality. And we're here to help. We're here.
Okay. I'm 42 years old and married, and my partner and I have been together for 15 years. He is really sensible with money and is baffled by people who can't control themselves. People like me.
Oh God.
Not funny. Not funny.
It was the baffle because what I've done is I've pictured a lovely guy that's like, they're eating over dinner. And he's like,
How ridiculous.
oh, for God's sake, how can people? And she's like, right, like, okay, he's baffled.
I feel embarrassed about my debt and it's starting to create tension in our relationship, yet he has no idea about it. How do I approach this with him? Should I share my struggles and ask for his support, or should I tackle this on my own?
You said husband.
Husband
Yes,
of
husband.
15 years.
Wow.
£17,000.
First of all, you must feel like a weight's been lifted off your shoulder just writing this dilemma
Just
in.
telling
Because
us.
if you've been keeping that from your husband, I imagine you've kept it from other
Yeah.
people. And I'm sorry that you felt like you had to keep that a secret for so long. I wonder what's been the catalyst to make you share it now. It sounds like you want to get your money shit together. Sounds like you've gone,
So at some
I don't want
point
to
it
do
gets
this anymore.
unmanageable. If
Yeah.
you're keeping it private, they obviously don't have, they might have some combined expenses and some not, but she's obviously able to, because she'll be making payments to these debts. And if he is as like uber nerdy as she says he is, he will have his shit together. He will know all incomings and outgoings. So I think that's first thing, that she's probably been managing it, but maybe it's got to a point where it's a little unmanageable. And some people, there's a term for this, it's called financial infidelity.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, like, it sounds so harsh, but there's different reasons for it. Like sometimes we've talked about this before, men and women have split finances. The woman is carrying more of the costs, and it might be spending on the children, or it might be beauty and appearances, or it might be shopping, it might be household stuff, but it's stuff that he's not aware of what the things cost, and she's, and it sounds like he's going to be a bit frugal and going to be on it. And she's been like, oh, let me live a little. And that's her space.
Yeah.
So there's an element here.
Money personalities coming to play.
Yeah,
a
there's a
little
lot
bit.
of that. But, it's so financial infidelity, though, like it impacts both of you. Like if you've got a home, if you may have a family together, if you've got financial goals, and there's something that one of you is doing that is holding back that goal secretively, it is called that. And I understand why it is, but I can imagine like this must have just been tearing her up inside, because the problem is the longer it's gone on, to be able to share that with him, imagine how he's going to feel. Like
Yeah, I'm
15
trying to be balanced on this, because if a woman had written in about a man being financially infidel, I'd be like, oh my God, what an absolute arsehole. How dare he do that? That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Like, I know I would. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to have empathy, because it must be awful. Like I said at the beginning, I'm sorry that you've had to hold it in for so long, but just think how your partner will feel when you tell him, because I feel like you get into a point where you might share, but like Laura said, you are inevitably at some point in your life going to be hitting financial goals together, and you are effectively holding those joint goals back. It is on you. It's your responsibility to share that and come up with some sort of solution, not on your own, together. I've known it to be the other way around, where another member of the couple's come forward and they've tackled it head on. We've had community wins where people said, just not one before, where
Exactly.
they shared that there's been some sort of debt on the other side, and the other person's
And
gone,
it might
we
be
can do
because
this.
he seems like he's vocal
Yeah.
and baffled.
Yeah. But not
by these
personally
people.
judging of her. He doesn't, until she shares, he can't empathise.
Well, he'll see he must be full of solutions.
Yeah. Yeah.
For you
Seeing
to
as how
come-
you're
He's
so
the husband
clever.
you want to be married
And
to.
we're like, okay, sort this out then.
Oh my God, that is such a way to position it. I mean, firstly, as well, what I would say is to not tell him either. It may come out at some point.
It will come out. It
But
always does.
two, the burden, the emotional and mental burden of carrying, can I pay off this £17,000 myself? we don't know earning levels, but like if he doesn't know where you're going to find that money from, and it could get worse, but mental health wise, you will be carrying that. And I don't think your health is worth not talking about this. So what would I do? And I love your angle here, Lucy. So if it's me, firstly, I'd really sit down and write down where you think the debt came from.
Yes.
Because it's going to be the first thing he's going to ask. And I really want you to think about whether some of it was your fault, impulse spending, I had a problem here, it was this holiday, I had a broken car, I didn't want to ask for help, I was too proud. There's lots of different reasons why that debt ran up, and the honesty is the best policy. Firstly, because it will help him empathize with why you're in that position. But two, going forward, like if you have an impulsive spending problem, you can work on it together. Or if you were carrying the burden of some expenses that really should have been split.
Yeah, like the maths hasn't worked for the last 10 years because do you remember when I took a part-time role so I could look after the kids and you carried on going back to work? I had to fill the gap somehow and I just didn't know how to share it with you. But also, money and mental health is intrinsically linked. Like Laura said, she might have a spending problem and it's as serious as like an eating problem or a mental health problem. Like
it's 100%
it's not just a throwaway like, oh, I just wanted to buy stuff on Klarna because I wanted to. No, like £17,000 is not an insignificant amount of money. That's a lot of money to go into debt for. So you might have a problem that you need some help and empathy with.
I'm also going to be a little bit toxic because I'm going to suggest the way that she could tackle it with him is two things. One, she could have run that up because of the way he judges people. So she could have kept it because she was worried about what he would think of her. And so that's a card that you can play in a relationship, which is, it's your fault. Not your fault. But
so this was a test and you failed.
But that could have
your fault.
But only if it's true. So basically it's his fault. No, that could be one perspective is, and I've been trying to tell you, and this is completely my fault, like I have done this, but you can imagine how hard it is. Like you are so good and I'm not, and I've covered this up, and people do this with fitness and stuff all the time. The other thing that
I didn't go to the gym, I just sat in my car. I just went on TikTok.
Eating what's it? Like.
Yeah. The other thing.
Feels like, why have you not got a six-pack? You've been going to the gym like 2 times a day for the last 6 months.
The other thing that she could do though, especially is play to his better nature and his talent, which is managing money. So like you said, if you want to be married to anyone in this scenario, it's this guy. And so I think definitely working up the courage to be transparent about it, really thinking about why it happened and unpicking that and being prepared, but then saying, but I'm fed up with this. This has been miserable. I've wanted to tell you so much. I've tried to do it on my own because I didn't want to upset you and I didn't want to let you down. But I can't do it anymore. But I think we can do it together.
Doing it together, like 17 grand, if he sounds like he's quite financially stable.
He will think it's a game. He will be so excited.
Yeah. Gamify it.
This is your challenge. So many times I wish that Carl came on and went, 30 grand in debt. I'm like, yes, right. We've got a plan. Let's do a budget.
I've been waiting for this moment all of my life. Pulls the whiteboard out. I'd be like,
time to shine.
Yeah. I am kidding, by the way. And I'm not taking debt lightly. But
you're going to unpick the clue.
It's really it can be like, and listen, if you tell him and it's over, I'm really sorry that we told you to do this but if that, then it is what it is. And so you cannot carry this. This is not 100% your fault. Do not feel shame about it. Get together a plan. This could be the making of you, both as a couple, but as an individual.
But you do have to take responsibility. Like you have got secret debt that you need to share with your partner that you should be open and honest with.
And it might involve making changes, because if you are an overspender or if you are spending too much in areas that the budget, like you have to allow him space to take control. You will have to make change, but you'll be supported and it'll be in a safe environment to do it. And like I said, I think a problem shared is definitely better than doing it on your own.
For sure.
So I know we keep saying this, but do let us know how you get on. Tell us what the chat was, and hopefully you're on a great debt-free journey.
Inspire someone else in the community to maybe share their secret debt with someone.
Definitely. Any final words?
No. Holly's staring off into the distance like, what
You're talking to me.
That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. Just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics, and we are not giving financial advice.